UEFA have, quote, reluctantly approved a proposal to stage a La Liga game between Barcelona and Villarreal in Miami. It said it was in clear opposition to the idea of playing domestic league games outside of their native countries, but added that it had approved two requests, one from La Liga, another from Serie involving AC Milan versus Como in Australia. The final decision on staging these matches will now pass to FIFA. And here's a statement from UEFA President Alexander Seferin. He says league matches should be played on home soil. Anything else would disenfranchise loyal match-going fans and potentially introduce distortive elements in competitions. Our consultation confirmed the breadth of these concerns. I would like to thank the 55 national associations for their constructive and responsible engagement on such a sensitive issue. And he went on to say, while it is regrettable to have to let these two games go ahead, this decision is exceptional and shall not be seen as setting a precedent. Our commitment is clear to protect the integrity of national leagues and ensure that football remains anchored in its home environment. For more, let's chat to Guillem Balagué. Guillem, great to see you as always. Interesting statement there from Seferin. Obviously, it's a complicated topic. Seferin's using words like regrettable, unwilling to set a precedent. Why did they approve it then?
It's actually quite simple. From the moment that Relevant Sports won their antitrust lawsuit against the US Soccer and FIFA, nobody can stop games played abroad. That is the number one thing. And the thing that means that UEFA cannot do anything about it. Concacaf, when they were asked, and they will be asked next, they won't say anything against it. And FIFA exactly the same. This agreement between Relevant and US Soccer and FIFA, that happened out of court because there is not enough, the rules are not clear enough to stop this happening either. So they were going to lose. If FIFA UEFA had decided that they wanted to stop this, they were going to lose the case. So, all right, it's going to happen. It will happen in Australia. It will happen in Miami. Will it continue? That will depend on the money, of course. If it raises enough money, enough interest, yes, of course they will continue. Another thing is the debate that we can start here. Is it a good idea? Is it fair for local fans? And my take, if you haven't asked for it, but anyway, I'll give you it, is that football used to be like, I'm the chairman of a football club in the 9th division in England. We have a YouTube channel. It's watched by 30 people. Our club is for local people. That's what football used to be, for local people. Not anymore. We've asked everybody in the world to be interested about football. We want everybody to buy the shirt, even 3 times every year. And we're saying to them, but you're not going to have part of the party. This is just for us. I think football has to open up the mind and start thinking that, yes, football can be played, should be played, will be played abroad.
That's really interesting. I never expected you to say something like that. I'm a traditionalist when it comes to supporting my football teams. I want to watch them at home in front of my own attendance in my city. That's where I want to see my team play. So trying to get on board with something like this is very difficult for me to do. So if you're saying that, then can you please sell it to me why this could be good for football going forward? Exactly why should the supporter get behind this?
There is a lot of reasons why it shouldn't. And of course, the first one of them is the heart and tradition. You already used the word traditionalist. Football fans are the most conservative people in earth. They want everything to be as it is. And by the way, don't we like nostalgia? Wasn't it football better before, whenever before that was? But that's the feeling that generally people have. Now we're talking about a different era. And a lot of complaints come from Central Europe. Don't take football away from us, the Premier League would say. They're not even talking about it. La Liga is saying this is only one game, but if it works, it'll be more than one game because they want to compete financially with the Premier League. Are they thinking of the fans? No, they're not even thinking of the players. They haven't even consulted the players. So there's a lot of reasons to say this makes no sense. But when you see the success of the NBA, for instance, when they go abroad, and the queues of people wanting tickets, because we followed the NBA for years, for decades, to actually have it in our home soil. That's absolutely brilliant. Now, some would say, yeah, but this, is it home? Is it away? Who pays for the referees? How about the health of the players? The rules that followed to keep the health of the players in Spain. Does that work abroad? Actually, no. So the 72-hour rule that you cannot play within 72 hours, it doesn't work if it's not in Spain. all that has to be negotiated, and the trade unions are saying, both in Italy and Spain, we don't know enough about it. We'd like to know much more about it to take a decision. But generally, money talks. Money is certainly a reason. But the other is, how about those fans in Miami? Do you think that Barcelona, when they come to Miami with Villarreal, they will not fill the stadium? They will. They will fill it 3 times over, or whatever you wanted to take them in the States. So why not give football to them? Why just give them friendlies that are just played half-heartedly? Why not give them competitive games? They are, in my eyes, as much fans as you are.
You make a good
point
case, Guillem. I don't know if you've turned Ian, but you're starting to turn me. We're talking, though, from kind of the big guy in the scenario. The little guy is teams like Villarreal. How do you think their fans feel about all this? Because Barcelona, and you quite rightly say, I mean, they could sell out a game if they played on Mars. But what about the other teams that are involved in this? Because it affects them too, and the sporting integrity side of it.
Yeah, why do you think Villarreal have been chosen in this case for this game? They're absolutely up for it. It opens up a new market. It allows them to earn some money, perhaps that they weren't counting on. But then the trade union will tell you, doesn't that break financial fair play if they earn this money that others won't be able to? So discussions have to continue. But I think for the last 2 or 3 years, when the new football calendar had to be put together, where everybody had to sit down and agree how football should be run, I think we've decided, I'd say everyone, we decided to look at different ways of actually continue with this business. At the end is, number one, a business, still a sport as well. And we are looking at new things. And why not? Why not? Football, I understand some of the attraction of it is that rules have not changed a lot for the last 150 years. But in terms of how it's lived or how it's enjoyed, we've actually involved the whole world. And I think it's fair that football gets distributed around and not kept just in certain parts of the globe. But answering to your question, Villarreal are happy that this is happening. Getafe and others are kind of moaning, but wasn't everybody moaning in the Club World Cup when it's like, what's this about? And somebody said $100 million and nobody said anything. In fact, Barcelona were upset they weren't there.
Listen, to back you up, I'm looking at it from an NFL perspective as well. The Americans are not complaining right now with their teams going over to London, to Frankfurt, to Munich, pretty soon into Madrid. And these stadiums are being built with NFL opportunities, obviously right in front of them. So they want that type of commercialization coming into their clubs as well. So they see it from the other perspective now. When it's their game, it's a little more touchy and a little bit more uncomfortable. I know there's a lot of American ownership now happening across the top 5 European leagues. Now, with that ownership comes a lot more power, a lot more decision-making to be had by American owners. And I'm not sure exactly how many. Maybe you can tell me. I think it's 15, 16. They need to get to something like 20, something like that, to be able to have incredibly large amount of power to make decisions like this. So with that many American owners now across Europe's top 5 leagues, do you think this is something that we're going to see a hell of a lot more going into the near future?
It's certainly an experience that they know a lot about. They also know how to sell a football game and how to make it attractive. And a lot of clubs are following the lead, even if they don't have American money in it or American people involved in the club. But the leadership of this comes from the heads of La Liga and Serie, not American at all. But they feel that it is a way to compete against the Premier League. It's just a way of looking at everything in a different light. The American owners, really what they wanted was an European Super League that included no relegation. So the same teams going all the time, again, playing against the same big sides. That had a lot of backing from American owners. That, of course, was stopped, not so much by the fans. The fans moan a bit, and yes, that was important, that noise, but certainly by government. Government felt, with the lobbying of the Premier League particularly, that they didn't want to go that way. Okay, not that way, but there is still the possibility of growth, a growth that doesn't come from television rights anymore. By the way, that's stuck. And people feel that it's not going to go any further. So it's going to perhaps going backwards. So could it be different games, because more games is going to be hard as well. And there seems to be a dynamic of fans and certainly players against more games and a bigger calendar. So this is another way of introducing La Liga, of introducing Serie A in new markets.
Yeah, massively important. You mentioned that. My head immediately goes to the Bundesliga, obviously having played in Germany for 4 or 5 years. My club, FC St. Pauli, if they decided that they were going to play a game in the United States of America, I could almost guarantee you the fans would burn the stadium down. I mean, there's just no way the supporters would get on board. And of course, in Germany in particular, the fans, the majority of teams in the Bundesliga are owned by the fans. They don't have one individual owner. There's only a couple with Leipzig and Hoffenheim who maybe have that ownership. So for me personally, this hits a little bit hard and hard to foresee different leagues getting on board. But I totally agree with Guillem right there. These leagues like Serie A, La Liga, they're looking at the money coming in and need the money coming in.
Guillem, it's such an interesting topic. We're going to have to leave it there. We are reliably informed by the CBS bosses that they've already booked our ticket for Miami in December. So we'll see you on South Beach.
We'll see you then.
Yeah, I will love that. Thank you. See you there.
Nice one.